Embody the power.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, friends. I'm Natalia. This is Embody the Power. Please take what resonates and leave the rest, because life's dynamic and subject to change. Thank you. Appreciating all the people that subscribe to me to help me get the name and stuff like that weren't necessarily completely in alignment with what I do. The rest comes from me, the hard work. And thank you for those people that are supporting me. That's really good, and I hope I can give something to you today. Today's topic is, I'm quite passionate about it, and it is called along the lines of my experience after taking the COVID vaccine from an empath's perspective. So I've kind of broken it down into 5 parts because I think it's important to just sort of define it, where I'm coming from and what I found, because I think it's going to help you whether you've had it physically or whether you've taken it energetically. So I'm going to kind of go through an empath and what that means to me, because it may resonate with people. Before I move forward, I just want to explain, it's not a buzzword when you hear take what resonates, leave the rest. It means that you have to know if something, cherry pick basically. If I say 5 points and only 2 of them go with you, you don't have to take those other 3 points. Those 3 points might relate to somebody else. The whole thing may relate to somebody else, but your paths are constantly crossing. Our paths are constantly crossing, people. So that's why I also say, you know, it may not directly impact you, but it may help you understand a situation that you're going through, which is pretty much why I do emotional integration, because you don't know what resonates with you if you don't know how you're feeling. If you're living vicariously through someone else, or someone else is doing it through you, you're not living in your truth. You're not knowing what it is for your highest good, but we'll come on to that later. And this is part of why I feel there's a misrep in the vaccine. I'm not here telling you should take it, you shouldn't take it. I don't know your life. I don't know your conditions. I don't know anything. So it has to be something that comes from within. All I can do is agree to disagree. I work with a lot of people that have had the vaccine, have had different effects, and it really is a spectrum. And I'm going to explain why. I'm not there to judge them. I'm just there to, okay, what do we do now? That's it, yeah? That's where my energy and attention is focused. So whether you've had it, whether you agree with it, whether you don't agree with it, whatever, that's not what we're discussing today. We're discussing the symptoms and the after effects of it, and how you can help yourself moving forward. From my perspective, and I've done it, and I'm working with people as well. Okay, so as I said, empath, what is it? How I actually got the vaccine, what happened, and why it's important not to suppress emotions due to situation because your traumas, traits, conditionings, etc. Okay, so what the way I'm explaining an empath is, we're all empaths, just some people are more in tune. It's somebody that is able to feel what's going on. For example, you walk in a room and somebody's really, really depressed. You feel that energy. They don't have to speak. You walk in a room and someone's really, really happy. You feel that energy. But with an empath and somebody that's developed that technique, developed that ability, or it's developed you never know, you feel it at a great impact. So if you're doing things like medical intuition, you can really feel if someone's got a problem in their kidney, or if somebody's had a back injury, you can feel it in your body and you take it on to help them clear it. You don't keep it because that makes you a wounded kind of warrior, but you're able to transmute it with them and help them. So an example is, you can walk down the street behind someone, and as you're walking past, for example, you'll start coughing really badly and you can't get rid of it, and you learn after a while that's because the person you've walked past is having a problem speaking their truths, or something like that, or they could have a throat problem, but you're gonna know, yeah? So that's the extent. So you can take on energy, and part of what I do is I do that. So, because sometimes I work with people that aren't in their truth, and I haven't got a problem with this. I'm like, I can feel it in my body, and then eventually we break it down, we see where it came from, we see what the trauma trait or the conditioning was, blah, 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 poof, gone. That kind of energy. So that's how I took it. So I was walking down the street, and this is all synchronistic. My life pretty much just flows in that way. And I met somebody, and she had quite a lot of physical ailments. She was, she stopped me and talked to me, and I was trying to get somewhere. And we were talking, and she just had the vaccine, and she was considered one of the most vulnerable. And I'm not going to go into it because that's her life, but just to give you sort of insight on how I got the vaccine as an empath. So I literally, it's almost like I took it off of her because she just had it, and not that second, but recently, and she was like, this is, I think it was a couple of months ago. Anyway, I was going to tune into that. There's someone watching. It's going to have a short break. There's somebody that's watching this video. I'm just going to tune in because there's like a specific message that's coming through for you. Sorry. Ad break. No, bear with me. There's someone watching that really needs to speak their truths. I'm just seeing what it's in relationship to. I feel like it's to do with your sexuality. You don't have to go out and, I can hear the song, on the rooftop shouting out, baby, I'm ready to go. That's not what speaking your truth means. Speaking your truth means accepting it in yourself. And then what you want to do with that is okay. But it's not lying to yourself first and foremost. And I feel that's where you're at. And it's strongly to do with sexual orientation, sexuality. Yeah, I'm picking it up. And it's just saying like, it's time. And that's, they're getting problems, whoever this is, you're getting problems in your knee. You're getting a problem in your knee because you're finding it hard to move forward. It's almost like you're trying to move forward and it's in relation to other things in your life. And because you're not speaking your truth, you're not able to move forward into who you are, because you have to be the change you want to see. And you're getting problems in, I feel like I'm tapping my right knee, but I'm feeling it's the left knee, because sometimes we work as healers, we work on the opposite. Anyway, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, that's it. So let me just see. Yeah, it's cleared. One of your guides really wanted you to know that. They just say, it's time. Be you. You is great. Yeah? Okay, cool. Going back to it. Where was I? Yes, so I walked away from this lady and I felt euphoric, okay? I was literally just bouncing up the street. I had my headphones on. I was listening to sing music out loud and whatever up the street. And it was just like I felt euphoric. And then after that, it was like I went through it very quickly. After that, it's like I went into this massive grey cloud of self-doubt. And it was just like, just not trusting myself, not judging, I'm crazy, I'm this, I'm that. It was like really, really, really heavy. And I started developing these symptoms. Now, just to pause there, we all are going to be affected by different things differently. And if you look, for example, cancer, yeah? You can smoke. Two people can smoke. One person will get cancer, one person won't. If we were all the same, we would have exactly the same traumas, traits, conditioning, upbringing, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but we don't. That is why we're affected differently by things. And that's why it's important to tune in to whatever it is you're going through. Okay, so this is how I felt it. Other people I've worked with have had different kinds of traumas, and it's manifested in different ways, and it's brought different stuff up in them. Yeah, so that's why it's different. I'm just going from me. I'm quite an emotional person. I don't get ill because as soon as I get ill with something, if I get a cold, I'll tune into it and say, why am I a vibrational match for this? And this is one of the tools and techniques you can use. Ask yourself, if you're suffering with any symptoms, why am I a vibrational match for this? You tune into yourself and you will hear. If you can't hear, you might need a bit of help from a healer or somebody who knows what they're doing. Most people will just instinctively know. Go in and clear that energy. Forgive yourself. Do whatever it is you need to do. That's what makes you a vibrational match for things, depending on your traumas, your traits, your behaviours. Okay, so going back to it, during the period where I was feeling these really, and I'm talking like extreme effects, I had, I got someone to interview me. I went into trance, and basically I went into trance to see. And then all of a sudden it was almost like there was a massive gap from being like elated, from being emotionally just like, oh my God, what's going on? I don't, who am I, what have I done? You know, just serious self-doubt, confusion, poof, take it. That's what it was like. Then there was like this bit where it had almost been like, it felt like my willpower had been bypassed, yeah? And then the end bit, it was almost like I would have been happy, you know, just sitting in a chair and staring out the window. And at that point, it wasn't great, you know, 24-hour lockdown. It literally would have been, I'd been happy just staring out the window. It wasn't that I was happy doing it. It was just that I'd become like, meh, like that. And that's not me. I'm someone with serious high energy. And it's funny, since going through that, you know, me and a few other people that do the work that I do, we understood that. And I had to come out of that energy. The person that was interviewing me while I was in trance was like, you need to get out of this energy now. I had to do a load of healing work on myself. They had to help me realign, rebalance, take back my power, let go of blame, take responsibility, tune in. Why was I vibrational match to feel it in that way? Why did it manifest in me in that way? So yeah, so this is why I dedicate my life to emotional integration, among other things, because if you don't know how you're feeling, how do you know what's for your highest good? If you get a cold, if you get an illness, I'm not saying it's going to take it away. We're all on different stages of the journey. But I've had a cold at the same time as somebody else has. I've gone in and done the tuning, realised why I got that cold, what it was that manifested in me from what I was stifling, the voice that I wouldn't let out. And somebody else that was around me had it for like months, you know, and I don't get those kind of illnesses for years now, like, and if they do come in, I tune in straight away. So that's my experience of taking the vaccine. That's all I want to say to you is kind of tune in. Like, once it's there, I'm not saying whether you should take it, whether you shouldn't take it. Okay, I don't know your life. I have some really good friends that have taken it. I'm not going to not speak to them because of it. I'm not going to get angry with them because of it. I have to agree to disagree. I know some of them didn't want to, but they felt pressured, blah, 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 right? It's not about that. It's about what do you do after when you're feeling symptoms or experiencing discomfort or different effects, yeah? I personally think there's a misrepresentation because we don't know how it was going to affect, but that's with many things we take, yeah? So moving forward, I'm not trying to incite a fray in you. I'm trying to say, okay, whether you've taken it or you haven't, if you're an empath and you haven't and you're still feeling symptoms, it's probably because you're picking up on energy. You're somebody that picks up on the energy. And I'm just giving you a tool and a tip in order for you to move forward so you can start to realign your system. Some people will need to take protocols and take this and take that. Some people won't. It really does depend on your traumas, traits and conditioning. We're all different, but we're all the same. So yeah, try not to divide and conquer about this because, you know, in the long run, we're in it together. So yeah, I think that's it. So preachy is over, but I felt really passionate about that and I've not sort of shared it before in this way. So I hope it helps you. I really hope it helps you, and I hope you get a little bit more insight into how it's affecting different people. That's why there's so much different information going on, because we all are different. That's why you take what resonates. A bit from this may help you, a bit from something else may help you, but tune into how you're feeling about certain situations, circumstances and stuff, because then you can really act from your highest good. And that's it. I hope you have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening. Thank you very much for being receptive. And yeah, I look forward to speaking to you next week.